Alo, alo. I think you can consider the first line here to như trường hợp phim của Ngọc. Rơi vào trong điều kiện vẫn một cái link thẳng này.
Hi, good afternoon, Sissy. Can you hear me? Hi, Sissy.
Hello, hello. Hello. Hello.
Hey, good afternoon, Rebecca. Can you hear me, Rebecca? Can you see us?
Yes, I can. Hello, Miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you?
Nice to see you again. Yeah,
Nice
I'm
to
good.
see
I'm
you
good.
again. So I
Yeah,
can hear you
we're
perfectly.
great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So we are waiting for some few more pupils joining so we can start.
Sure, I will be waiting. I
Yeah.
will stay connected. So
Anyone else from Propaco will be joining, Rebecca?
yes, Hélène Shao will be joining as well this session. I think she will connect in
Oh,
a few minutes.
okay. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Mithya.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Can I check with you if you can hear me clearly? We are waiting for our CEO will be joining a little bit, and we can start in a few minutes. Can I check with you if you can hear me?
Yes, we can, Miss Nga. We can
Yeah,
hear
thank you,
you
Rebecca.
clearly.
Yeah, yeah. Can I check with CDB, Kexim, and SMBC team? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear
yes,
you from Philippines.
Okay, thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. So again, I would like to warmly welcome you all to VP Bank and joining with visiting and working with us for the new facility transaction, which is led by arranged by IFC and SMBC. So it is my great pleasure to introduce to you for this session, Mr. Nguyễn Đức Vinh, the VP Bank CEO. You maybe a lot of you have been working with Mr. Vinh for a long time. And I have Mr. Chuang, who is the head of balance sheets and financial market division. And I also have Ms. Ngọc, who is the head of investor relation. And on my left hand side, Mr. Thành, who is the head of macroeconomic, who will be joining us for the next section. So I think that I will not take time from you so much. I leave it to you I hand over to you for very brief introduction from your side, and then we can start shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, chị Nga. So first of all, thank you anh Vinh, anh Trường, and chị Nga, and the entire VP Bank team for preparing this due diligence and your hospitality for receiving us here today. As Ms. Nga mentioned, I see jointly with SMBC, we are very pleased to receive the mandate from VP Bank to arrange a financing package of up to $900 million for the tenure of 3 years up to 7 years. So it would mark the longest tenor syndicated facility in Vietnam for this transaction. And for this, we expected to bring 9 to 10 DFI investors along with several commercial lenders to provide this financing package to VP Bank. Some of them are existing partners to VP Bank and some are new to the bank. So we are very pleased to introduce some of the new partners to VP Bank. So being present here today, we have representatives from the IFC team, SMBC, DEG, some colleagues from China Development Bank joined in the morning, but some of them are joining virtually today. And we also have colleagues from China Exim Bank, Probaco, North Fund, Swed Fund, Korean Exim Bank are participating virtually. So we very much looking forward to interesting discussions with Anh Vinh and a very productive 4 days of due diligence here at VP Bank. So thank you very much.
Grow in the coming year. Yeah, thank you.
So first of all, I would like to thank you and welcome you to our office. Also maybe to colleagues from other organizations also to the virtual calling. We are very glad also maybe to have IFC as our maybe long-term partner, ventures maybe for different funding solution in the past 10 years. And our bank is very happy also with the work and to expand the cooperation with different organizations, including maybe the sovereign fund as well as maybe the other commercial organizations. So I hope that also maybe my colleague in different teams from financial market to asset liability as well as maybe for investment. And also the business head in different ready and also be available to discuss and give answers to you. I'm personally also engaged maybe to come here today. That maybe to be 45 minutes, 1 hour. If you have maybe direct questions maybe to me, and then I'm do that. But hopefully that may be main informations and detailed things maybe will be provided by our colleague. But I'm always be available as well whenever you still have something needed today and maybe other if you may have it. Thank you.
So thank you, Eng Vinh. So perhaps to start the discussion, maybe we can start with your sharing on your strategy for VP Bank in the next 5 years. We have interesting discussions with the corporate banking and the retail banking team this morning, and they presented a very exciting plan and also very aggressive KPI target for the bank. So we would like to hear from your perspective. How do you see, your strategy to implement that target, and where do you see the bank 5 years from now, given the bank is already the second largest private bank
Mình
in
chiến
the
lược là
market?
mình không có một cái trình bày nhỏ. Mình không. Hả? Không, chiến lược mà họ còn nói chiến lược có trình bày đầy đủ một cái
Financial model.
một cái financial model cụ thể nhưng mà cái okay, so maybe my colleagues may provide you also with the documentation about maybe the overall strategy of the bank, but because maybe a very short time, so I do not think that I can maybe give you some maybe very detailed things, but we just maybe to inform that also maybe VP Bank is now maybe 33 years of operations, and we are among up to now, so maybe we are among the top 3 largest private bank in Vietnam. Our strategy is also very complicated, of course, maybe, but we are growing our strategy from focusing maybe 10 years ago on the retail and SME banking. But from 5 years now, we decided to go on the different segment of the market. So we are offering a complete range of banking services, serving retail, SME, commercial banking, corporate, as well as maybe investment banking. So that means also the bank is ambitious maybe to build the full functional bank in Vietnam, covering different. It is maybe a change, maybe since maybe 15 years ago that we started with retail focus mostly. And after that, we grow our portfolio, we grow our capital base. And since maybe we came together with SMBC as our strategic partners, and then we enhance a lot our equity. And now, so VBank became among the top 3 bank with the largest maybe equity in the market. Also, including also with the state-owned bank like a Vietnam Bank. I think we are just maybe on the equity side, just maybe behind Vietcombank and Techcombank on the equity side. So with the strong foundation on capitals, we decided also to go into the larger market and different segments. And that also may be going along with the Vietnamese economy growing, especially from 5 years now, and the government wants to fasten also with the economic growth and expanded the countries, especially you can hear from the top leaders, maybe discussions, maybe from 1 or 2 years now, right? A lot of big projects of the government to modernize the countries, to develop the countries and everything. So maybe the bank see that it is maybe the good opportunity also we go into that market. So in conclusions, maybe our strategy is quite ambitious. We want also to become maybe among the top bank in terms of scale, in terms of large maybe segmentations, but also in terms of product and services. That's why we have also to build our own capability as well as maybe our competencies maybe in different areas. That is maybe a very high pressure on the management. How to build quickly also with our competency and capabilities also to meet the ambitious maybe requirement. The board of directors and the shareholders maybe has approved maybe a very ambitious maybe plan to develop our own capability from the capital base to also maybe the human resource management, preparing also maybe for high growth of the countries, as well as maybe to develop also maybe new services, product, and that can allow the bank also maybe to capture the good opportunity in the marketplaces. That's why it's maybe if you look at our financials, maybe planning a little bit, my colleague share with you, you may be a little bit surprised maybe why the bank is maybe looking for very high growth and continuously, and so maybe 35% maybe growing from portfolio during 5 years consecutive. That is also maybe a very huge program for us from 3-4 years after COVID. We have also maybe invested maybe a lot in people and system, technology, risk management, operation, and other things to match this requirement. So I just maybe to let you know that maybe during the last 3 years, the bank almost maybe grow at about 31%, and last year about 19% in growing in loan, but this year about 35%. And they're looking for another 2 or 3 years more with the 35% maybe growing. So maybe sometime it is maybe a big challenge maybe for the management, how to maintain the qualities of that. It's not easy, right? Yeah, that's it. But we have also maybe a very strong management team with capable people. And we are also maybe working with different partners within Vietnam. So we can mobilize also maybe the resource, not only from Vietnam, but also from the expatriate. Within our bank, we have about more than 30 expatriates maybe working together with us in different areas, maybe including also company. And we are building also will be strong relationship with the large technological maybe company in order to implement it quickly on some of the latest maybe technologies, maybe advanced. We are strategic partner for many also large company, including AWS, maybe on the clouding, and also maybe everything about the AI new vision. We are also working with McKinsey for consulting us, maybe in detail of the business. We are working with different organizations, maybe in the world, to build our capability on the new AI areas, as maybe to how to implement the stuff. So it is a challenging, but we are able to build the plan. We are able also to implement the plan, and we have also made a high commitment from the board of directors as also at the management team. Very important factors that also maybe SMBC is also the Japanese giants. Also maybe they are now very close maybe to our strategy. They are now also maybe the largest strategic shareholders of the bank, 15%. And they are also maybe willing to increase maybe the participation in the coming months. We expect it maybe in next year. So we have maybe some plan to talk about that, increasing equity. They go into maybe 49% of our asset credit consumer finance business. And we are also maybe discussing with them on different opportunity to work on that way. So with this foundation, the cooperation from strategic partner, we are confident that we can also maybe implement the ambitious maybe plan of the bank. That is maybe overall. I do not know maybe what I have to do because maybe a lot of things. My colleague, you talk with our retail team, our SME team, our corporate banking team, FDI team. You will be also be knowing much better in detail. So sorry that I just want also maybe to bring you also the overall pictures and to listen maybe to our questions. Because the strategies, maybe my colleague can have a better presentation with all the figures and all the interesting word and everything. Not me, right? But I'm here also maybe to answer you for any concern you may. Hope that IFCs maybe can help.
Let me ask a very sensitive question. What about the next 5 years? I believe that the ability of the strategy is very visionary. I want to ask you, what is the succession plan? Because we heard something, a few months ago, probably will hand over to younger leader, but today you are still, at the strategy. I believe strategy agreed, shareholder.
Succession plan always maybe very important strategy maybe for any organization. Maybe in the bank. Yeah, I'm a little bit maybe too old to maintain a bank.
Not old.
Right.
Old but healthy. Yeah, exactly.
That is also good. But for our bank, right? Firstly, that we have also maybe focus on building a strong shareholder relation. We need also maybe to have maybe the key group of shareholders, even though we have a 54,000 maybe individual shareholder at on the market. But I think maybe the key shareholders of the bank are very concentrated. We have about maybe 4 or 5 main group of shareholders that they are willing to produce the bank for And very importantly, on the key shareholder, group of shareholders, strategically also be working very closely with SMBC to build maybe a strong and professional bank. That means it doesn't mean that we just maybe have the shareholder to meet our requirement for, but we are also building the bank strategy to respond to the needs of all the shareholders. That is not so good. So we have a strong maybe board of directors. This year we have maybe already completed our board of directors, maybe composed of 8 persons, 2 independent, 1 Vietnamese, 1 American, and 1 also we coming from SMBC, supervisory board, building into the governance, make it very clear, and that and ensure that the bank maybe can go further the future, maybe without any maybe risk maybe to have contact, right? Because maybe for Vietnamese bank, many in the past, a lot of lessons will be learned from the program of the shareholder, from the program of the people and everything. Right? Second, that review, we have also developed from many years now, maybe a talent development program. We have different, because maybe we focus on our middle managers at all levels. Because maybe they are the main people who build the bank, not the boss, not the CEO. We have about 500 key managers of the bank within our pool of talent. And these 500 people maybe are well organized, and also we have the concentration for maybe our top management, how to build them, how to train them, how to adapt them, and maintain and make sure that these 500 key and middle managers are running the bank in any circumstances in the economy. At the same time that we developed from 3 years now, a young talent pool program, because maybe these are 500, they already need operated, but we need maybe another generation to keep that. And that's coming from maybe the new recruiter, as just maybe for the new talent. And maybe my colleague in HR maybe may share with you later that every year we develop, for example, this year we have maybe a program of to recruit about 150 new talent, and we have also developed some with the special career planning for this one, making sure that they go and recruit this one and can develop. So the bank can have also maybe the very structured plan to get also maybe the key managers, the successor of this position, and the training also the new one. I do not know exactly maybe how many people we have in each of this group, but we have also different groups, and make sure that these people can have also the chance to go up to the high level. Now the most critical point is now maybe the top manager. We call N minus 1. I think all maybe our head like head of financial market, head of corporate, head of retail, head of risk. This one now is also maybe the actual key managers of the management. We have about 15 to about 20 candidates. These people in different groups, and they are building and we enhancing also maybe their capability. And we have also maybe the policies to retain them, to make them loyal with the bank through different compensations, as just maybe the stock option program. That means these people already will be mature, right? And they are also managing here. And each of these people, they have also to build their own succession plan. They need also maybe 2 or 3 candidates for each of these positions. and they are building them. And also we on the KPI if they are doing that. But to be honest, maybe in the market, competition is so high. Sometimes some of the very good candidates maybe coming return, and maybe the other competitors can take it out and paying higher or something like that. So we lose some candidates, but also we recruit some the other one. So this the process will be continue to be on. So I have to say that for overall succession plan with the key manager of the bank, like you said, it is maybe in place. But we always maybe strengthen years by year. And the board of directors, the HR's committee from the board of directors are directly managing this one, the HR. Also maybe chairman by the chairman of the board and two other vice chairmen. They are managing also this one, recruiting, interviewing, selecting, and getting into the people. So I think maybe a lot of these N-1 are the candidates to the CEO at any time. Because maybe they love me, they want me to stay. But at any time, these people, any of these people, can take responsibility to be the CEO at the same time. And in reality, I have to say that now 90% of the CEO workload are performed by them, not by me. I'm meeting you a little bit, I'm meeting them, I try not to motivate them and to help them. So I have to say that I'm quite maybe happy and okay until now that our succession plan having no problem. And within 5 years to come, anytime until the time that they don't like me anymore, maybe I will step down and let them also to go and to manage it that way. But unfortunately, they still love me. Okay. Maybe they argue the pretext for me to be stay here, right? But very quickly, I'm that's German.
German,
Yeah.
exactly, German Development Bank. So I he invited us, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, first
Yeah,
time.
we meet.
And we are very happy follower, and really impressed by the development of VP Bank in the last 6, 7 years, where we can see your development. And my question is actually connected to your strategy with regard to the capital planning. So one of your very strong point was always very solid capital base, and this entrance of SMBC improved even to the very high level. However, listening now what corporate people say, retail people say, and you say is that you plan to grow 35% a year, 25, 26, 27. So capital still will be needed.
Yeah.
Can you maybe elaborate more on this topic? And not only amount-wise, but also what will be your preferred structure with regard to the shareholders? Would you go through listing, so try to invite new shareholders, or rather ask SMBC to increase the share of SMBC? So what are the plans with regard to the capital?
Last year, no, early this year, so maybe at our shareholders meeting, or maybe the board, the shareholders meeting has approved capital planning for 5 years. So we have the plan to grow at about 35% a year, and you see that also maybe that require a lot of capital. Our capital adequacy ratio now is about 14.5. But it will also maybe decline very quickly when the total assets may be increasing. And we are now maybe among the top 3 banks with the highest maybe capital adequacy ratio. We don't want to lose this position. We want to keep it at a high level. We want also to balance between also with a high capital adequacy ratio and also with the return on the investment. So in our capital planning, we have identified maybe the three main sources how to maintain that. Firstly, is that we have also with the retained earnings program. You know that during the last maybe 3 years, our bank distributed about 5% the cash disbursement, also dividend disbursement, because maybe to make also maybe the shareholders maybe happy a little bit, because maybe Vietnamese maybe shareholders they want some taxes. And for almost 15 years, maybe until 2022, that we didn't distribute anything. So maybe the chairman wants us to keep the promise. That also they distributed for about 5 years to come. So maybe 3 already there. And I think maybe 2 other years will be distributed. But the distributions, it is just maybe about 4,000 billion per year. So very small, right? Why also with the profit that we get this year, maybe we get maybe the net profit at about maybe 22 trillion after tax. So maybe even that we distributed about 4, we still have 18 to add it into the capital. So retained earning is very important and is growing very fast. This year maybe our profit grow at about 47% compared to last year. Our plan, maybe consolidated profit also maybe for tax maybe 25 trillion. But we may also maybe still also maybe 3 weeks to come, but we may also achieve at about 30 billion. I don't know how much, 20% can be higher than that. So with that, more capital can be added to so the equity can be higher, right? But still not enough, right? Recently also maybe we just maybe IPO our security firm. You heard about that, right? And it is maybe a very successful because it is a good time and the company also maybe get maybe the new fund, the new equity, equity about 12,000, more than 12,000, 12 trillion, right? And that enhanced the security firm, but also we enhance the capital of the group equity. So maybe our equity also will be increasing and it's also be getting better. So this one also maybe can allow for that. Of course, maybe we do not have a IPO for everything, but I think this one is very important. Right? But not only VB Bank, right? I think maybe our subsidiary, like a security firm, Happy Credit, is also getting back. Still, the profit is not very high, but it's getting better. The security firm and investment activities maybe are doing quite well, and I think maybe next year we are expecting us to get about 50% increase in profit for that. So, for example, next year's budget, we are targeting about more than 30% profit increase for the whole group, right? So the return earnings is very important, right? In 3 to 5 years to come. New IPO is also maybe other source. Maybe we are planning to raise the new capital. Of course, maybe we are willing also to work with our partners. They want to increase maybe their share. Of course, the priorities maybe given to equity. But also we are open for new equity injection from new investors. So we are targeting also maybe to increase maybe one round of equity increase of capital increase in 2026, and another round maybe at end of 2027. So we may have maybe the 2 rounds of increase maybe the capital to allow the bank also to keep our growing strategy from 35%, but also maybe to not only also maybe to maintain the bank growing, but also maybe to allow the bank to invest in some other new company. One of that is also life insurance. we have already planned from our shareholders meeting last year. Asset management company could be maybe another one, maybe and some other places, areas maybe when the market is open for that, so we are open to that. So that's also the main capital, right? Yeah. So we are willing also maybe to discuss with potential investors which are constantly interested in working together with us. In the investor side, to be very honest, maybe we are looking for partners which can also bring not only money. Of course, money is important, right? Good price, good money, and everything. But also they can maybe help us in terms of knowledge, competencies development through their network, through their and that can maybe enhance maybe our capability and enhance our competencies and maybe grow because the bank still be compared to international banks still very small, right? So maybe we are have a big ambition to serve Vietnam, but also maybe some other countries maybe around Cambodia, Laos. I don't know, but maybe later on. But for now, I think in 5 years to come, focus on Vietnam, not going to Germany, no. So we be very quickly that we are open for that. Yeah. Some of the large organizations also expressed maybe their willingness also to talk about that, and our board of directors are willing also to open discussion. Of course, maybe because we have our strategic partner SNBC, so we give them also the priority. But also we still consult plan when we have also the new partners maybe come respectively and so we will supply. Make sure that the new partners will go together with all and make the bank more powerful.
Just one question. You have very ambitious targets, right? That's
Yeah.
very clear. And the market is there, the demand is there, the quota is supported. So all of that looks very good. But the growth is very rapid, right? And
Yeah.
maybe even a bit aggressive in a
Right.
sense. How do you make sure that, everyone will stay grounded and people will not become over optimistic, maybe overly confident, right? But at some point, maybe not next year, everything looks very good, but maybe in 3 years something will happen, right? Or maybe on global scale, there could always be suddenly, stress in the market coming up. So how do you also make sure that while you achieve all these targets, that you also keep the risk management in check?
I think maybe your question is a very great question. As a CEO, I have to be confident. Before that, I can be ask my colleague and protocol to be confident, right? But of course, maybe we cannot really supplicate because maybe, to be honest, maybe myself, our board of directors are also maybe not exactly worried, but I think maybe considering has big considerations maybe on how to achieve that. Everybody maybe knows that it's maybe ambitious. It is not to say that we cannot achieve that. Or maybe you can achieve that easily, no. A lot of pressure maybe on the management. But I have to say that also maybe the top management, the board, have agreed that firstly that we have also to identify the ambition, the objective, and the determination maybe to achieve that. A little bit subjective, a little bit, right? And then we have also to try to find the way to achieve. how to achieve that is not easy. So, optimistic, yes. But at the same time, we have to take the precaution. Otherwise, maybe it's a different plan, including also maybe the coming back plan. For anyone, maybe we have also maybe the aggressive plan. But if the market change, or maybe there is maybe something, we have also maybe to have replacing maybe the plan and everything. Especially now, maybe the uncertainty in the international market is very high. If you look at the macro a little bit, nobody maybe can be sure that if the war between Russia and Ukraine can be finished in the weeks to come, the conflict between China and US maybe go to what extent, nobody knows. Tax, Trump tax maybe can have also maybe so many impacts on that. And Vietnam is also affected that. But lots of our clients also have to affected in some industry because maybe Donald Trump tax everyone, not including also fan and relative. Right? They are taxing China, of course, Japan, Korea, Vietnam. Maybe the big exporters to them. So they are taxing also Germany. So maybe nobody knows exactly. But what we are thinking, for example, next year, optimistic or pessimistic, up to now, maybe very difficult to reply. But our people from financial market, we will serve with a different scenario for each of these scenarios. How the fall, maybe the exchange rate can change, how interest may be going up and down, and what impact. So to be honest, maybe we have some maybe second plan for that. Okay, maybe the ambitious plan we go, but in case maybe we have a problem, we have to make sure that we are in a safe position. I just made in 2024, for example, we have very ambitious plan, grow at about 30%. Finally, we end up the year with about 19% because of 2024. We had maybe the big impact of the real estate market. So, like maybe when we discussed, maybe the SPL maybe going up, especially maybe after COVID, maybe some of the markets like maybe the household industry has a problem. So we decided to cut the plan, maybe going from a very high growth to the reasonable growth. And instead of that, we're trying to strengthen our capability with operational. So nobody's maybe can be sure that everything maybe can be achievable easily now. So your question is that we are willing to go with one ambitious plan, but we know that how to be prepared also for people. But mainly up to now, personally and our board, you are more optimistic for next year and 5 years to come, and hope that also with the new top leaders of the country and have also with the open-minded and new policy and enhance also the mechanism within the country and allow the economy to grow. That is also will be our confidence on the market. And we are also with the international. We see maybe some positive factors, even on the Ukraine war. Also, we can go to the end because maybe they can also maybe stay for long. Both sides already at the limit. And China even the economy a little bit difficult, but they are very big. No one maybe can destroy China now, right? Even also to America, we want to slowing down the development of China, but China also very big now. And we are also the largest also the greater partners of China. So here we are also we see the good thing and the not good thing. I think it's going to be a very good this more this yeah, maybe our colleagues from China they were doing that. Even the economy of China a little bit also is slowing down. But still also maybe 2 times higher than American and European growth. Right? You look at that, 4.5% is not it's maybe low compared to their growth in the past. But compared to Europe just maybe 1.2%. Right. So maybe it is also maybe so we see also the good factors for us. To be very honest, because maybe we're doing the business, so we don't care much about the politics of it. So we see for us, we are a good partner of key player we are a good partner of European countries. We are a good partner with China. We are a good partner with US. Good partner with Japan. And even good partner with Russia. Russia, okay, but that is good because maybe that also will give Vietnam also the good benefit on this very complicated situation. A little bit political, but I'm not politician, right? But I support the government policies to be friend and to cooperate with all partners. That's why Vietnam benefits a lot from NAFTA.
Taking the time, we have probably a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
We have SMBC, CTB,
And
also online.
go
We
on
have
the
a
line,
couple of
yeah.
lenders.
Yeah.
If you let's give the online
Yeah.
virtual participants. Deepak, we see you. You have anything to ask to Mr. Lee?
Hello, dear. Thank you very much, Wei Chan. No, I think the picture is very interesting. I think our main concern was about the capitalization plan, and thank you for answering that. I think as far as today, we don't have any further question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come back to the room. But you,
As you mentioned, the strategy to grow the bank with a full functional bank and also corporate banking from the previous focus, retail and SME. Can you highlight some maybe 1, 2, 3 key things that you will do differently with other top bank like Techcombank and other SOE bank who are like very strong in corporate banking and full function finance already? And also in some concern with like the concentration risks compared to the previous profile of PP Bank.
To be honest, maybe on corporate banking, especially the new area for our bank. Before 2022, we mainly also serve the SME banking and retail. We just maybe developed the corporate banking from about 3-5 years now, right? So when we go into the corporate banking, it is very complicated. And we are starting also maybe with the working capital financing, debt finance mainly, right? The second areas maybe we are working together with the real estate project because maybe developers, even the real estate is maybe one area maybe where there are also maybe the high risk of liquidity as well maybe in Vietnam. But for the countries like Vietnam, real estate also play important as also maybe the key because the need of housing and many other things, and we want to do the mortgage and everything. So we need to work together with them. And now we identify 9 industries to focus on the corporate banking. Maybe tomorrow when you talk with my colleagues in corporate banking, different cities maybe go to do. But I think we selected some of the key industry where the government wants to prioritize, and also maybe it go into the trend. For example, about the NFT, renewable NFT, everything about maybe the related to the green financing, ESG, and everything. That is maybe one area. Infrastructure, because the government want to develop infrastructure very quickly, and we are maybe among the some large banks that can also be finance the construction of roads, bridges, maybe ports, as well as maybe on this way. But this one infrastructure maybe need the long-term funding, and we have a limited long-term deposit. That's why maybe we have also to be very selective. This morning I just talked with our colleagues in the China Bank of Development that I'm very glad that also maybe they are willing also to finance the infrastructure in this process. So maybe it's one of the areas that we can cooperate together to work. We already in the past maybe have some cooperation with ADB, right? ADB as well as maybe the JBIC to co-finance maybe some projects because we don't have also the long-term funding. So we cooperate to manage itself. Maybe the same way we can maybe work with China Development Bank or as well as maybe with any other one, or maybe we get funding directly from you and you can do that. Other industries also maybe are in the telecommunications, maybe pharmaceutical, of course maybe the consumption, everything also to serve the consumption. So we are selecting. And I do not know exactly if we can differentiate it from the other, but we are not doing everything, but maybe we are selected about 8 to 9 industry. That's where we are focusing. We are discussing also with SMBC to co-financing maybe some of the long-term projects. And we do not have experience in project financing. I just I made the last project for 10 years, for example. So maybe we are ready also to work together with them, and we may participate in syndicated loan and jointly also we develop together. So on the corporate banking, we are quite selective, and we want also maybe to go step by step through the process. Maybe our people we can learn from the market, also maybe from our colleagues at SMBC, and that enhances our own competency before that we can maybe make the large investment in the future. That is maybe a hope that we can give you, but trying also to be differentiated from the other. Large bank like a Vietcombank, BIDV, normally they have a large capital base, so maybe they are building more on the larger projects.
You are more on the profitable.
Yes, we have to make profit. We cannot do the. So sometimes we have also to support, right? For example, we are participating actively into the government program for the affordable house. For example, in Vietnam we call nhà ở xã hội, social house. It is also a very big project that the Prime Minister maybe want the bank to go. We go there, we have also to keep the price cheap, suitable for the people. We are not making money, very few one, the match is very few one. But at the bank, we have also to participate. For example, in such a case, maybe a profit criteria is also maybe the second. But mainly you have to make profit. If no shareholders, see the management.
Just the last few minutes.
Yeah.
CDB and SMBC. Council.
SMBC,
Yeah. We have
Ah,
to college from SMBC,
there.
Mark. And
You
Marcus,
from
do you have
SMBC.
any questions to Mr. B?
We don't know, so maybe
Yeah.
a
They've
colleague.
been very silent because they are
Yeah.
backing you. Let's give you the
Yeah.
chance.
All right.
Yeah.
You think that they are European? Yeah, maybe a very good scientific partners, but they help us also maybe to have access maybe to different funding, the work, consolidated also maybe the confidence from investor and creditor.
So maybe let's ask one last question. It's about the GP Bank.
GP Bank.
The GP Bank,
GP
the
Bank,
bank you acquired.
Yeah.
If you can give us an update where the bank is.
Mm.
And
We took the bank February early this year. It is a trouble bank. They have a losses. And then we have a plan and so to be into the bank from that and identify the strategy. So the bank also maybe are focusing on SMB banking and details. I mean also maybe for some of the markets, not like a WeBank. We are not doing the same like a WeBank. And maybe with that bank, the government also maybe and the State Bank of Vietnam also give us maybe some support. One of the support maybe you can maybe grow credit maybe higher than the other. Maybe the credit growth maybe for the whole market about maybe 16, 17, 18, and they give us 35. And that allows the bank also maybe to be maybe ahead of the competitors to grow. Of course, maybe we have to assimilate it and so with this high growth opportunity. Until now, I think the bank is doing well. Slowly, we are implementing now maybe a very aggressive program to rebuild the platform, technological platform. We are working with very good technological partner internationally and so and hopefully on the maybe early next year we can have also with a complete new platform to allow the bank to grow. So this year the bank are making a little bit of some profit, not very high, and also maybe by $20 million maybe profit before tax. But the accumulated loss still very high. So we have to maybe a plan of 5 years, 8 years until we to restore and to develop as well. So until now, there is maybe no other plan. Then continue also maybe to develop the bank and the people, the system, management. We have dedicated about 25 people from our bank to manage the bank. And that will be going very quickly into the order. And I hope that may be going up there. But we are not putting the equity yet. According to the plan, after 3 years, we are going to put the equity. Because if we put now, we have to consolidate it to the mother bank, right? To WeBank. So it is not good. But now we are still maybe working with them under a management contract. So we manage it, we own, but we are not yet putting the capital yet. Our plan is maybe on maybe 27 when have more equity and everything, and they can reserve maybe some equity. That is also maybe what I can maybe disclose maybe. The bank is doing well, more slowly, but getting better.
no more questions. You had a separate session already. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
It's very
So,
very useful discussion.
Yeah, very
Thank
short
you
time,
so much.
but once again, also maybe thank you for IFC, SMBC, and so to co-arrange this maybe with all the partner. And we are expecting that to get more funding from you. And that, why not $1 billion? I think it would be much better. 1 billion is much better than.
I hope everybody
Only-
heard it, right?
Yeah.
Not only us, but everyone has to contribute.
Or maybe like maybe last year that we have was maybe 1.6
nearly
1.6
1.6
maybe
billion.
on green shoes of about 250 US dollars, maybe more, can be very good, right? And that allows the bank also maybe to achieve also maybe our ambitious maybe objectives. And we are committed also maybe to work and to protect also maybe our funding. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah.
Vâng ạ.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for all colleagues.
Stay here, right? Yeah. Okay. That's nice. So tough question, right? Despite
Really?
the quite
Because
easy.
maybe we are getting a video.
We know Mr. Bean can handle any question.
Yeah.
Very positive, very confident. Yeah, I think let's get started.
Good afternoon. My name is Tan. I'm economist from VP Bank. We have prepared a presentation for you about macroeconomics, Vietnam macroeconomics, but I think that it is better for me to express the other things that not on this slide. As you know, that Vietnam has new leadership since 2024, and since then we have seen the dramatic change. First of all, the new leadership have a new master plan for economic development, which should rely much on the infrastructure development, which has been slow for recently. And to make this plan workable, he wants to reduce the recurring expenditure. Now, recurring expenditure in Vietnam state budget is account for about 60%. And now the new leadership wants to reduce this to 40%. So to improve the investment in expenditure to 60% of the state development. And this is one part. The second part is this: they want to streamline the administrative decision-making process. For example, before, it would take several years to make one decision. For example, to take one decision to build a bridge in Hanoi, for example, it took 5 to 6 years to approve and 1 to 2 years to make feasibility feasibility examination. But now it took really 2 or 3 months. It is quick. Well, it's dramatic change. I want to say that. However, it may be good or may be bad, but at least for this time, for the moment, it is a good one, the good change. And the second, it's massive reforms. That you know that about the government reduced about 40% of the medium agencies. For example, there is only three level of government. The first one is government and ministerial level and department level. Now they abolish the general department level. They abolish division level. So before there are 5 levels of government. Now they have 3 levels of government. About the number of ministries reduced by 40%. It's now I not know the exactly number, but it's only less than 20 or 20 or around 20. On the and they reduce also 61 provinces to 36 provinces right now, and they abolished completely district level, and now they have government, provincial government, and commune government. And the number of communes reduced from more than 10,000 to about 3,000. It's about 70%. The number of communes reduced by 70%. It means that 10,000 of managerial position has reduced. So it means that they have reduced a lot of administrative procedures. At the same time, the government enforced e-government. It is everything. The administrative procedures now go through the electronic forms. So it reduced a lot of time and money for government, for people. For example, if you want to acquire a new passport, you should go to the minister of to the office to take a queue. It may take the whole morning or whole day. It's only about to submit application. But now it took only 5 minutes. You stay here on the computer and you submit the application, and you receive the passport in 5 days by post. It is big, and you know that Vietnam has about digitalization. About 90% of procedures in the local government level is already on the digital platform, and about 40% of procedures on the government level is on digital platform. And we have already finished the digitalization of for example, the household data, personal data is nearly 100% ready. The only one is about the housing market. It is digitalization. The database is ready for 40%, 40 or 50%, and there is no it is lack of integrity between provinces. So it is still in the development. But I think that in the term of e-government, Vietnam has made a big progress. Okay, I think that is all about the master plan, how the government will go forward with this master plan. And now I will go to more detail. For example, for reducing recurring expenditure, you will know that since 2024 to now, about 130,000 of the government officers have submit retirement application. So the number of personnel reduced by 130%. It is a big reduction in the personnel so it's no number in the government at a different level. At the same so at the same time, the government want to increase the revenue, budget revenue. So there is a plan to transfer that before we have the millions of households that pay fixed tax. And so, but this is the government sees this is some hole in the system because there is a small household, it's okay, but for the big household who have the revenue up to 100 billion Vietnam dong is about 4 million USD, but they pay tax only 500 or 1,000 USD every a year. So and the government want to abolish this system, and they want to transfer all the households, the big household, to the invoice-based taxation, and this could increase the government revenue. There is no number right now how it will affect, but it is a big change that will improve the government. But on the expenditure side, when the government want to build big investment in infrastructure, first of all, the previous leadership, the new leadership have inherited a very good conditions from the previous one. It is that the public debt of Vietnam reduced from more than 60% to 34% of GDP. I think that, and we think that will continue because the budget deficit of Vietnam, in fact, for example, for this year, for 11 months, we have budget surplus about 350 trillion Vietnam dong is about 15 billion USD. So the government is in good condition. The budget is in good condition. And for example, and recently our government has changed our National Assembly has changed the law on the public investment and the law on public-private partnership. On the public investment, the big change is that, for example, the previous law requires that all the expenditure for this year cannot exceed the amount that allocated by the state budget. So it by default means that you cannot fulfill 100% of the budget. Yes, it is partly helped to reduce the public debt in Vietnam, but it also reduce the time of public investment. So public investment only fulfill about 50 or 60% of the plan for the last 5 years. But now the new law allow to spend more than what the budget allocated by 20%. I think that this is a good one. And at the same time, they changed the law on public and private partnership. What is the main change? I think that a lot of things have changed, but some of them I want to mention that they separate the compensation for land acquisition during the investment plan to the local government. So it is will be responsive of local government, not the private contractors. I think it is a big change. And now you could see that the number of PPP projects increased substantially for the last year. For example, the bridge through Hanoi to Lien Bridge will be built by the PPP plan. But most of them will be like in the form of BT, build and transfer. So in the government don't pay to the private investor to build the infrastructure. Instead, they should exchange lands for them. So it means that it will be less pressure on the government budget, but more pressure on the banking system. I think that I will finish here, because I have give you the main trends, what happened in Vietnam, and what will happen in the next 5 years. So in my review, that there's more positive things ahead, and the change that we have seen in the last year is a dramatic change. Yeah. Thank you. I want to say, I think that we should go back to the Nguyễn Tấn Dũng government 10 years ago. So everything that what happened now, for example, 3 level of government, also already discussed in 2012. It's more than 10 years ago, and everything that what have been happened now was discussed 10 years ago, but it was postponed in the last 10 years because of the anti-corruption campaign that also limit the scope of action of government at the different level. Yeah, but that is why everything has to go fast, because they already prepared before. And I think that in addition, that the digitalization help a lot. 10 years ago, maybe not will not be so quick because there is not no application of e-government, but now e-government help a lot.
Just discussed that in FY24, the growth was the target was 30%, and the bank realized 19%, right? That was because there were some economic headwinds, right? Some issues in the economy. I'm always a little bit surprised to hear this, and I've also heard this in other banks, and I see it in the system that yes, there were some macroeconomic headwinds, but the growth was still 6-7%, right? So the headwinds were, if you look at let's say the entire economy, the headwinds weren't that strong, right? But the impact on the bank was quite significant, right? So what does that tell us? Does that tell us that the customers are very sensitive to macroeconomic stress or headwinds? Or maybe does it tell us that the bank is very conservative and you just slowed down the growth because you saw these things happening in the economy, right? What is sort of, could you maybe help us to understand a little bit better the very strong impact of a relatively minor dip in the economic growth?
I think that, as Mr. Vinh already said, that bank rely much on the real estate sector to develop, and when the infrastructure development was fastened, so as far as will be the real estate market, as you know, that when the road is built, bridges built, and the real estate in this area will increase, the real estate price will go up, as also that attracts the investment into this sector, into this area. So, and you could see that Vietnam want to increase a lot of infrastructure development, but since then we have a very low level percentage of public investment in infrastructure. But now we increase this a lot, and we expect it to public investment be increased by 30% every a year for the next 5 years. But it will not affect our public finance because we have very low public debts, and the state budget is quite healthy. And budget deficit, I think it will be less than 3% of GDP.
Yeah, I add a little bit more color in terms of how, let's say, how the political leadership in Vietnam thinks about the economy and their ambition as well. I think it's very much alike with VP Bank as well. So like Mr. Vinh said, we are very ambitious of the growth. But at the same time, we can review and revise our targets. I mean, given how the external conditions are likely to be, right? So Vietnam, for instance, you hear that the government set a target of 8% credit GDP growth this year, and they aim for maybe 10% for the years to come. This is what you see around the media, right? I would, and we would interpret it in a more conservative way. How? I think for Vietnam, right, macroeconomic stability is number one target for any government or governor or MO or Ministry of Finance. This is what we see in the past. So for instance, inflation indicator will be very key for us, right? So even if the government has such an announcement, I don't think that we should worry too much. Personally, right, a 10% GDP growth would worry me rather than inspire me, to be honest. To be very, very honest with you. Because we need to see what are the real economic drive that bring to the 10%. But right now, I think 7%, I would be happy. Of course, I mean, in our presentation, we see many of the drivers that help us, like FDI, like government spending, more in terms of investment rather than, current spending. Mr. Thanh share. Like we have a lot more, we are having a lot more efficient governments in terms of serving the people. I mean, that's all true. But will all this bring to a 10%? I don't think so. I mean, we need to be, very innovative in terms of, let's say, technology. What can we do in terms of competing with the rest of the world if we want to achieve 10%, right? So yes, the government pushed for 10% as an ambitious target, like Mr. Vinh pushed for 35% of credit growth. But we have to see how we can fare. Again, right, if we are having any sign of inflation, right, this is where, or if we have any problem, major problem with the currency, this is where, supervisory system will come in, if I say so. It can come from the party, from the government, from the State Bank of Vietnam. But I'm sure that, you see certain fluctuation. But ultimately, this is the key for, if you look at Vietnam for long term, right? Since only, we had a major crisis in about 2011. But ever since then, right, we have certain ups and downs, but you can say that you have a real crisis. And this is how Vietnam navigates so far. And I think the top political leadership have a good understanding around that. Okay. So any further question?
It means that if government set the target like a GDP 8%, they must meet the target. Is that the case here? If they fail, then people will lose kind of trust government.
If they meet and they have an inflation, that's even more of a problem, right? If they fail to meet 8%, yes, it doesn't look good. But if they really have an issue around inflation, I say particularly around inflation. Number one, inflation. Number two, currency. But inflation is even more important, right? Then I think it's going to be very bad for the Prime Minister and the State Bank of Vietnam governor.
Inflation has been relatively...
Yes, it has been relatively under control. What you have seen recently is actually in terms of the currency front, the dollar dong has gained some value. I mean, in the last 3 years, 2020, especially in the 3 of the last 4 years, 2022, 2024, and 2025. So I think cumulatively, the dollar dong may gain around 17 to 18% in value for the last 4 years. I just have a rough calculation. I mean, making Vietnam so cheap. Yeah, if you look at any travelers, comments around, you have a meal of $1 or $2 or coffee of less than $1, things like that, right? Even the service standards that we have in Vietnam, this is very, very cheap. Yeah. Yes, it doesn't. It's actually erode a little bit of the confidence of the people in our government and in our monetary policy. It means that there is a need for the government to address it, right? And I think interest rate may have been too low for the last couple of years and may have to be corrected. And we have seen the interest rate already rising a lot in the retail market. So, and half a year ago, right, the Prime Minister always have a rhetoric about keep interest rate low, expanding credit. No, now, right, no longer such message. And actually banks are rising interest rate and nobody is talking about it. It means that they worry about currency, they worry about inflation. Yeah, so this is what will happen in Vietnam. So you see the up and down, not like as smooth as the Fed, for instance. Even the Fed is behind the curve, right? Frequently, but perhaps in Vietnam it would not even rougher. But still, ultimately, what you strive for is a growth in a stable macroeconomic environment.
But it is very hard to imagine 10% growth without significant inflation, right?
Exactly. This is what I share with you.
Yeah,
This
but
is good
it's
to
inevitable that it will
set
go
an
up, right?
ambitious target.
Yeah.
No, I think in China, 10, 15 years ago, we saw that 10% growth. So high inflation. So we have studied around that, right?
Which numbers? Which numbers?
Well,
are you-
because you have higher income.
Yeah, higher income.
And you have, and of course, you have a higher income. You have to pay for higher expense for services. But generally, China has been able to manage a 10% GDP growth without very high interest rate. Do you agree or not? China interest rate has been always very low. Not the case for Vietnam. Yeah, so Vietnam has to certainly keep the interest rate level high to protect the inflation. Yeah, so I understand a bit of China. So agree, 10% to me is a little bit out of range. Okay, media still work with the media. We need to see the reality. It may come out 8% or 7%. That's still good compared to 4.5% in China or 1.5% in Europe as a max. Okay.
Good insight.
Yep.
Any more questions in terms of macroeconomic, economic, currency, interest rate, banking sector?
Yeah, maybe on the banking system. The entire system is growing very fast, right? And we will discuss with you tomorrow about the interbank lending and borrowing in more detail.
That I can save it for tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. That will take. But just on the banking system, do you think that because you are handling this well, right? We discussed that.
Yeah.
You can always make adjustments to your strategy, and you're still focusing on risk management. But this very fast growth will also probably cause some banks to take too much risk, right? Because in this kind of growth, anyone can make money, basically, right? What are your thoughts on the banking system?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think banking sector generally is it's very sensitive and is have a close look from the government. How do I say? One of the key risks that perhaps the government would see is how banking related to the real estate sector. I mean, the same thing happened in China. China is still, I mean, is still in the deep hole, right? Starting from 2025, 2022, 2023, and now still a problem sector. So Vietnam have learned from it. And I mean, recently we saw even the party secretary mentioned that real estate prices are too high. Right? So it means that for me, for the government and for the governor, real estate would be the key risk player for the banking sector, right? And I as I shared with you over lunch, right? We started to see, you know, government and State Bank Vietnam, especially the government, discussing around measures of how we can actually reduce the level of speculation in the real estate market. That's numerous measures that have been discussed. Some of them have been already like, you know, under, you know, maybe implementation, I can say. Things like, you know, tax on transactions, things like setting up, you know, general exchange, basically general exchange for real estate trading, tax on ownership. So far, we don't have any tax on ownership, right? I think that in the banking sector, I mean, your question around banking sector, right? The State Bank of Vietnam are already have been discussed and released the first draft of the Basel III implementation. So to replace the Basel II, this is currently being in place. That including the capital and the liquidity stipulation. And I look at the Basel at the liquidity stipulation. It's actually even tougher than the Basel III, and we are actually providing feedback to them. Of you know, if you, it's very hard for us to comply with. Yeah.
Where are they especially tough?
Sorry.
Where, on what element are they especially tough compared to Basel III?
Yeah. So I look at LCR and NSFR. LCR is very, very tough. So, I mean, there's a list of items, right? Of how you calculate it, very detailed. It's not yet final, right? We still are giving back feedback to the State Bank of Vietnam for them to finalize it. But basically, they also want to, you know, really tighten the banking regulations. Yeah. And I think that you also asked about consolidation, right? I think that one thing that State Bank of Vietnam already start to have more preference to the bigger banks. Yeah. You know, let's say recently they issue a new decree, new circular for gold per importation and trading physical gold. And only banks with very high capital are allowed to enter and give given license for gold importation and distribution of physical gold. Yeah. So definitely also they have a roadmap of how they can relax, let's say, the credit growth. At the moment, they have a fixed credit growth, right? The pressure on them is this is not a transparent system. Right? You need to have allow banks to grow. Then which bank are allowed to freely grow? First, they allow the foreign banks. Foreign banks are already freely to grow. So the next level is maybe the best bank, the better bank. So basically, for the smaller banks, which I think would be the subject of higher risk, right? Would be control tighter, right? Yeah. So maybe there are a lot of other things, but the key is, I think, number one, how to control real estate market is very important to the government. Yes. Yes. And maybe introducing international standard regulations so that, Vietnam Bank can be at par with regional banks. Yep.
Thank you.
I think that yes, if you read from the press, especially international press, like Economist of Bloomberg, they emphasize a lot on the impact on Vietnam economy from the tariff. But in fact, that you see that after tariff have imposed, Vietnam export increased, still increased a lot, and increased about 16% year on year for 11 months. And now, and I think that we have received 20% tariff from Trump. It is the same like our competitors like Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia. It is the same thing. But we have that zero tariff on electronics. That's where FDI, foreign companies invest most. And the most of our export is from FDI sector. And for local companies export a little, and mostly they import. So you could see that this tariff doesn't impact much on Vietnam because we have a big size from zero tariff. But of course, the labor-intensive sectors like textile, footwear, they have impact. But because we have the same tariff like other countries, so this impact is not much. But you could see from the FDI, we have still FDI disbursement is about 23.6 billion for 11 months. It's a 9% increase compared to the last year. So it is positive signs. So it tells us that the foreign companies believe in Vietnam, and they believe that Vietnam could solve the tariff with the Trump administration. You know that Vietnam diplomacy is quite flexible. We call it like a bamboo diplomacy. So we try to negotiate to get the best deal with the foreign governments, especially with Trump administration. I think that the real impact on Vietnam will be minimal. Not like what international press talk about this before. But in fact, that you could see the figures, we don't have the negative impact from tariff. I think that because maybe from the U.S. economy rely much on the import from this product, and it is the impact a lot on the consumer sentiment. Yeah. Samsung have Apple. Yeah. For example. Yes, of course.
I have a question.
Okay,
Yeah,
please.
Yes, the manufacturing sector, I found that the growth rate for the manufacturing have lagged behind and before the pre-pandemic season. And I want to know why the manufacturing sector was lagged behind, and have you more investigate whether it's because of the high-tech manufacturing or because of the low-tech manufacturing? Yes, không có cái chất. Yes, of course, manufacturing sector. I have to answer your question, I should to go back to the COVID time, where because if you put take information from the IMF, the government support for household and corporates during COVID time in Vietnam is about 2.7% of GDP. It is the lowest one in the Southeast Asia. And that is because we have a negative economic growth in 2021. And I think that that is the main point, that because the support from the government for the small and medium enterprise was minimal. So their recovery after COVID is slow. That is the main point. But I think that that's one thing. But another thing that if you see in the structure of in Vietnam economy, the service side increased more rapidly than manufacturing side. So it is another side of why the recovery from manufacturing is so slow. The first one, it is quite small support from the government, and they suffer a lot, especially small and medium enterprise suffer a lot during COVID-19 period. And the second is the change in the structure of Vietnam economy. We more emphasize on the service sector, and service sector increased more fastly. Yeah. I mean, so the medium-sized enterprise, the money, so it's I can understand it's the low-tech manufacturing affected by this. The biggest or the high-tech manufacturing has been affected. Because if you can see now the economy, the big manufacturers are mostly the foreign companies. We have a big manufacturing in Vietnam, like Masan, Vinamilk in food and beverage. We have a big in the steel, like Hoa Phat. They have a good good recovery. But most of the local enterprise are small and medium enterprise. For example, in textile, footwear, mostly and they suffer a lot during the COVID-19 period. And their recovery was very slow, very slow. Okay, that's why I think that but you could see that from the like IIP's numbers recently, PPSI numbers, we have more than 56 or 55 for the last 2 months. So the recovery is low, but I think that we will see the more recovery in the next year.
So I guess what you are asking is, within manufacturing sector, what is the differentiation between local versus FDI manufacturing? Yeah. I think in terms of SME and large local corporate, honestly, it's difficult to answer. But what we can answer is in terms of local manufacturing versus FDI manufacturing, right? I mean, our view, our in-house view is that the FDI manufacturing has generally outperformed the local manufacturing. We can see the contribution in terms of export. So the export growth and portion of export from FDI base are actually growing faster than the local. Right? So generally, Vietnam economy in terms of manufacturing is led by FDI. Whereas what Mr. Tang said is, in terms of services sector, right? Services sectors, I think the local industry has perhaps performed a lot better, because also the portion of local services is high, become higher in the economy. Right? So generally, I think it is right that, you know, local corporate generally still has not yet fully recovered after COVID, I must say. Although I think there are perhaps differences between sectors, like, for instance, like the tourism sector has already fully recovered. In fact, this year, Vietnam would welcome more international tourists compared to pre-COVID. Unlike Thailand, we are welcome more international tourists. Right? And agriculture, for instance, is maybe one of the outperforming sectors. We export a lot more in terms of value for every agriculture-related product, and the growth has been quite substantial in the last 1.5 or 2 years. The real estate sector has recovered very well. So 2025 perhaps has been the best year for real estate in the last 3 years. So the 2025 in terms of what we measure is actually in terms of volume of transaction. Right? Volume is very important. But if you have volume, then basically there is market liquidity, right? Yeah. So perhaps we are not able to answer all your question with the details, i.e. between SME versus large local corporate. But for sure, I think local corporate generally has grown well, but the manufacturing side is underperformed compared to the FDI, whereas some of the other sectors in the local corporate has performed quite well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I hope that was the last question, because we overrun maybe by 20 minutes already.
Yeah, we have to move to the next section with the IR and our team, finance team.
Yeah.
Okay. So any questions? Can you please direct to the FI team?
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you.
I will see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.